So it started off having maybe say this list. So obvious, you're gonna start at the root, and this one will be definitely be accepted. So right up, I insert it into the list. So now I mean we always go by the left hand side. So I mean when we talk about the setup, like operation Z is always we go to the left. So we go here, we come to the left, and straight up it really tells us that this guy is like invalid, um, and that we don't actually put into the list. So I mean when you talk about that, I think it's that it does like check if it's um, there's only like two possibility. It's either it's like a zero or like a true value. So in this case, when it's um, a false value, for this case, it will pop back up the result, and in this case, it's like returning that, oh, this guy is like false, and this guy got to like decide what to do after, right? So you come to this guy, and it's starting to actually decide on um, what to actually do. So and so I think that the moment like you pop back up, like for this case, this guy is considered to be the root guy, and the root guy usually have like a passive spell of um, casting the spell split. And if this guy has like the ability to cast the spell split, that means and maybe before like anything else is that over here um, we identify this guy being like the root guy, and that he has a spell split, and that the moment before we go on to the left side is that um, how many split are we left with. And so there's actually like two possible routes, and when there's like two vacancies, so this one is like two vacancies, it will start off with the left, and now you go back to the root and you check the vacancy left, it's actually left with one for this case. So you use up one time over here, and so we left with one more vacancy. So it will then move towards the right. So in other words, two vacancies, you go to the left, one vacancy, go to the right. You come to here, one vacancy, go to the right. So now cool. You come down to the right path, and you're gonna operate this operation X, and you check true or false. So obviously the item is like true, right? So I mean the thing is like the moment if it's like true, you go to proceed to operation G. So as you can tell, like you pop back the result if it's like a false value, but you go to operation G if it's like a true value. So it's like a true value. What you're gonna do is that first thing first, you're gonna append to your list, and for this case you're gonna add the 1 over here, and then you're gonna reset to come to operation O as like being a refresher. So if it's true, you append to the list and you go to operation O. So now you go to operation O, you're gonna say that, okay, is this root split vacancy 2? It is. We go to the left, and it's a 3, right? So it's obviously falls under the category of like true. So I mean, if it's true, we operation G. So in other words, when we come to over here, that we say that we want to go to operation O, we go to operation O, cool, and then now we go to operation Z, and this time round is true again, so we proceed with operation G once again, and we try to go to the left hand side, the operation Z. But the thing is that the moment we go to Z, there's like a invalid value, there's like a false. So like in terms of like false, there's like 2 ways that you can actually talk about it. And one way is that it has like a null value, or it can be a 0 value. So if it's 0 or no, we got to like remember that we have to actually go to operation Y. So you go to operation Y, you pop back the results towards this guy, saying that, yo, this guy is kind of like invalid, can we do something about him? And after operation Y, we go to W, and W is saying that, oh, now the vacancy we are left with 1, we can go to the right side and check, and we go to the right side and it's another 0. We need to actually do the operation when it is false. We need to actually so now this will then therefore fall under the category of like H already. So in H case is that if say like my root, the vacancy is left with 0, we got to actually pop back up the results, and in this case it's like a false towards the previous value. And remember that each time that we enter to say a vacancy of like a root that has vacancy 2, we need to actually what we got to do is actually append to our list. And for this case is that we append to this one here, like the previously we at the start we do this, But at the end of the day, we found out that the vacancy is 0. Not only do we pop the result back up that is false, we also pop from the list. And in this case, this tree is out of the picture, but we pop back up the results. And this guy, it goes back to operation W when there's like one more vacancy. So when there's one more vacancy, it goes towards the right. So I mean, it goes towards the right. Cool. And we check operation X, is it true or false? And it's like actually true. And in additional, like what we do when we actually do the form of checking is that we have to say that okay, actually once we check that we have to actually check if is there vacancy, and for this case it's like straight away vacancy is 0. So when it's such a case straight away and that you haven't even go anywhere else, it identify it as being like a leaf node, and when it's been a leaf node, and that's is the ends. And obviously this guy is true, right? So I mean, you're gonna like append to your list. And for this case, I think it falls under the category true. So it falls under this column where you operate most likely this item. Which we see over on the operation G, where if an item is true, you go back to operation O, where you check these items. But the thing is this, that you go to the root and you found out that like the vacancy is like 2, so for the case of there's like 0 vacancy, you fall under this category that you identify it as being a leaf node. But when you come here and there's actually there's like a real 2 vacancy, you then proceed on to do the operations, which is adding the left and then afterwards adding the right. So this whole entirety thing is taken that if say like the 2 vacancy can be traveled. like these two vacancies are real, then we go by all these operations. But I mean, if it's like not real, we go towards here, which identify it as being a leaf node. So we come here, we add it to the list, and we identify it as being like a leaf node. We got end off, and what it's gonna do when it's like we found out that like this is the leaf node. We go by operation M, where we pop back up the result, and for this case obviously it was being true, so it returns true. And now this item, this is like the third time that we are, I mean the last time that we are actually coming to here. Previously we identified as like two vacancy real, we did the left side, we did the right side, and it pop back up. It's obviously time to actually return the result, so it's this guy, it returned it pop the result back, and this guy, having gone through this left side and right side, it say that you finish both the left and the right. You can actually pop the result back up. This operation P, you pop back up the results, and same for this case, operation P, where you know that you finish this whole entirety thing, you pop back to the system eventually. You pop back up the results. So it's true, true, true. Obviously, we see that there's a lot of like different operations and happening at like different cases. Straight away, you see that there's like multiple operations. When you think of that, it's either you are talking to a tree, or are you talking about like backtracking? So that's the character that we're talking about, and this is the spell that is actually casting, that there's like multiple operations. And obviously at this current point, we don't have like a LeetCode question for ourselves to have like a rulebook to explain about. But if you were to see, a lot of like all this is to do with smart maneuver. If there's like two vacancy, if it's that one vacancy, how you gonna like move? So it's pretty much casting the spell of smart maneuver, and you are maneuvering around the map. And I like to emphasize once again, here is to do with two real vacancy, and here is 0 real vacancy that you conduct this operation. This one is checking going towards the left, and this one checks going towards the right. And each time that we depleted our two real vacancy, what we actually got to do is operation P, which is that you just got to pop back up the results. And same for there's like different scenarios. It's either operation P where you deplete everything, or you found out there's like a leaf node, like operation I. Of it's like a false value, the operation Y. And when do you actually this one is like the popping of result. But obviously you also have like the append to the list. And when do you do that? You identify the item to be a root, that there's a possibility of like two real vacancy. So it's really very much before operation O. And I mean the one is also have like double vacancy, so we append it. We go to the tree. And it's not only O, there's only also operation W, where if there's like a chance of like having, as long as it has a chance of having a vacancy on one of the sides, it's considered to be able to actually append to a list. So you come, you see there's a free, sure, left side there's no item, but the right side has item. If there's like a chance there's like an item, you append to the list, put a free here, but sadly both sides are sort of like false, so you return back this item to be false. Yeah, you come back here as being a false, and this guy has been used up for the split, so it will pop back up the result, which is a false. So this guy now, the left side is false, but there's still the right guy to actually enter, and towards the right guy is a leaf node. It's gonna like return the pop back up the results, which is true, and return true, pop back up true, and pop back up the system true. Maybe this is a sidetrack item, that whatever we see over here, it's a lot more special occasion as compared to trees. So there's a lot more things to talk about. There's a lot much more special cases and whatnot, and yeah, therefore this backtracking. So in layman terms, like if I were to see that when does like an item actually goes back up, it's either it identified as like a leaf node, so operation I, or like both sides we have depleted, so that will fall under I mean, if it's either true or false, it will always like pop back up the result. So therefore, if it's a false, you will perform Y. I mean, if it's like true and it's like a leaf node, it's operation I. But I mean, if it's like true case, it will just keep on proceeding the furthest it can. So the only times it actually do pop back up is when it reaches a false value or it reaches a leaf node. So that's how I see it. Therefore, it's like operation I when it's a leaf node, operation Y when there's like a false value. And you kind of like proceed deeper when it's like a true value. Which is our operation G, where you keep on proceeding if say the value is like true, because in another case is that you pop back up the result. And once it is true, you go this whole entire list items where it's gonna act that as if there's like two real vacancy, unless there's really zero real vacancy. It's either this or that. So if it's like two real vacancy, you're gonna run through the left and the right side. If it's like a leaf node, you're just gonna pop back up the result, and that's pretty much it. And if you were to see, there's just a lot of like special case, and it's like overemphasis of like the smart maneuver system, where this time around the special case is a lot of them, special cases, a lot of them. And I don't know like backtracking is like a part of tree or not, but for this case I consider this character to be a backtracking one. And if you were to put it this way, you also can say that like, what if I use the brute force to actually fight against this character? The thing about brute force, it has no smart maneuver system. So I mean, it can come to the 4, it can come to the 0, but by right, the moment you reach 0, you gotta like return back up to the system. Like operation Q of a brute force, it doesn't know that 0 you got to actually move back. It continue moving forward, and it's like extra steps compared to operation R, where you identify as a 0, you straight away pop back up to the result to your root, and then carry on with like the two vacancy rule operation. But obviously brute force doesn't actually do that, so operation R, where it responds accordingly, it will be more ideal. That's how I fight against the brute force. So yep, with that everything comes to an end.